Welcome back everybody to Motorsport Manager. So let's get into the nitty gritty, shall we, before my personal home race, although not the teams or the drivers, being Canada, Italy and Germany, but still it's special, it's my own home race. And I am of course the team boss, so that's more important than anything else. First out, I want a quick shout out to Foxworth, who left a comment a couple of episodes ago. Episode 11, probably the most in-depth comment I've ever got. Firstly, thank you so much, man. You always support nearly every video I do, and I really appreciate you interacting and commenting on everything. Love you for it. But he made quite a few points, well, a whole list of points. Apparently he's been getting into this game since watching me play it, and has played for quite an extended period and got quite a lot of help and advice. Go back and look at that if you want to see exactly what he said. Few takeaways from it. Apparently a lot of the drivers we've been scouting have been a lot higher skill level and wage level than we'll probably be able to afford. You know, they're from effectively Formula 2 and Formula 1, and they're not going to want to race for a Formula 3 team, which is very true. So that's one priority, is probably starting to scout people in our own championship rather than those incredibly skilled in the championships above. The other is not to worry too much about the red balance. Don't go ridiculously low, but you can dip into it quite a bit, and that's what I've sort of started to notice, is it doesn't really matter if you're a little bit into the red. So we might start spending out for a few more things, and I want to start looking towards next season now. And the thing that really stuck with me from the comments is that the staff, lead designer, yeah, there you go, has got a trait for the great parts that is a risk level. So she's not really going to be any good above average or good parts, because they're always going to be associated with a risk level, which is what I'm trying to avoid, because we've got far too many fines and demotions in previous races. So we need to stop that, really. And quite right, the other thing he was saying is the parts won't carry over to next year's car. So maybe just concentrate, especially now we've only, what, 4 races to go? 3 races? One of the two. Just concentrate on improving parts and improving the reliability of them, rather than building new parts and spending lots of money on that, because it's not going to be much use if they're ready in a couple of races time and we can't use them next season. No use at all. So that's all fair enough. We can't improve or change the reliability just yet. We've got to wait for them to finish, so we'll leave that for the moment. Scouting we can do something about, though. We've got an empty slot there. Designers was one of the things I was going to start looking at. So good, -2, no bonuses, doesn't know anything about great, epic or legendary. What is our current 2.5 stars? Okay, we don't have to improve much then, because I think a new designer is definitely something that could be very useful, and we don't have to go too far down to improve. But we only want to scout them, because of course they will, we don't want to pay to break their contract. Same with drivers, we'll wait till the end of the season. Why can't I scout them? It just opens it up, approach or compare. So I guess we can't really okay, fair enough. Also, I suppose lead designers with high stats for rear wing and front wing isn't much use, because that's locked in the regulations. I was going to see wide slick tyres, rear wings can be developed. That is a next vote then. I was wondering what the rules are for next year. So medium length qualifying sessions. Qualifying sessions last 0 minutes, giving drivers and teams enough. So there'll still be no qualifying. That's a pointless vote, isn't it? If ever I saw one. Yeah, okay, we'll go back to designers at a later date, I think. Let's deal with our mail. Useless. Useless. Your attempts to avert the wonderful purity of this... Oh, breaking a rule, yeah, bugger off. Useless. Our break's finished then. We might make that our final parts of the year then. We'll just work on improving the parts we've got. Scouting report for Ellie Nightingale. In the European Racing Series, Ellie would be one of the stronger drivers. On top of that, she still has potential to become even better. Ellie's strength is her consistency, but she has a hard time with cornering. Okay, we'll have to start lining these up at some point. I think we're probably a race or two away from worrying about that at the moment. Let's just see what parts we've got, shall we? And see if we do need to build anything. So, brakes we've got good and average. Performance can be improved on both, as can reliability, so we definitely don't need any new parts there. Is there any risk on any of them? What is the... gearbox. Okay. Maybe we build one new gearbox. Same as suspension. Risk with the rules. Suspension. We could do with a new suspension and a new gearbox. That great gearbox, great suspension is also likely to get banned at some point. Okay, we will build something then. Suspension. Just build good suspension. Can we do that twice? No. We'll build an average one as well. Was it suspension we needed to off? I'm losing my mind here. I'm overthinking this quite a bit. Suspension. We've got an average one, so we just need one really for that. Gearbox we need probably just one. Design new part. Gearbox. It's a risk level, so no, a good gearbox. Build part. Confirm. Cool, that's going to cost a bit. It really would be nice to... You've got the multiple slots to build different parts at the same time, but they all have to be from different categories, as in an average, a good, and a great part. It'd be good if you could mix and match that through different components, so have a good suspension, average brakes, and so on and so forth. But this whole system seems very alien to me. I still want to do a playthrough at some point. I'll just continue while we're thinking about that. I still want to do a playthrough of something at some point of something like Grand Prix World or EA F1 Manager, just show you the differences that the designing of the parts has and how it should really work in the real world in Formula 1 or any motorsport. It's not really going to turn up with radically different parts unless they're running out of the parts or it's a brand new part that they haven't got enough of. Both cars are repaired. I think I was going to look at was the HQ. It's such a cost to upgrade, that's the problem. What's the cheapest building available? Well, I'm a cheapskate, but we really don't have any money. These are all locked until we build other stuff. So, a staff centre, driver fitness improvement rate, focus, and improved staff stats. Scouting facility, hidden drivers, set 1 unlocked. So we'll get a new load of drivers, not particularly useful. Forecasting centre was something Foxworth was mentioning in regards that we'll get a better forecast deeper into the race at the beginning of the race. Look at that. It's going to be wet, for God's sake. I mean, it is England, fair enough, but can we not get a break? Upgrading buildings would unlock more buildings. It's still too expensive. We could go in the red, but I don't want to go that far into the red. I think once we built the parts we need, then we can start saving towards the end of the year, and then we'll know. Then it will hopefully boost our budget. I don't know if there's an end of season pot, as in there should be, as in the position you finish in gives you a certain amount of prize money. Scouting, 2 empty slots. Right, drivers. Let's look at that then. So, Racing Series and the European Racing Series. There we go. Okay. Eddie Johansson, we've already scouted. Do you only get 4 slots? I'm sure we've scouted more than 4 people. I guess we've scouted these people. Youngsters. There's way more drivers. Oh no, I'm going too far down. Idiot. Who's some? Santori. Sure, let's scout him. I'm kind of going by the wages. That's the only way I can probably tell an age. I don't want to go for a really old driver, to be fair. I want someone we can add value to and maybe ship off at a later date. World Championship, okay. Mustafa El Sadat. Sure, right. Scouting report, rear wing development back for 2017. We shall find out. That's obviously the next vote coming up very shortly. Be good actually, I suppose. Rear wing development. It's more areas to improve the car. Finished all of our part development jobs. Okay. Right. So this is what we need to do then. So reliability of brakes, definitely. We'll improve both of that. So the 2 engines we'll be using are these 2. There we go. So maxed out performance, maximum reliability. That's what you want. So engines all good till the end of the season. Gearboxes, we still need to build one. We may as well improve the reliability. Oh, we can't. Performance we're looking at, isn't it? It's got a rules risk. And that suspension's at max. Yeah, there's not really much we can do. What if we... Oh, it is on 10. Okay. Performance. I guess we'll improve the performance of the brakes as well. 20 days after race, 40 days after race. What if we... 15 after, 1 day after? Not going to make much difference. We may as well keep it balanced. Right, let's move on. I'll continue. This really annoys me. It just stops for no reason. I know it showed me the results of the previous race, but I want to continue on. There's nothing for me to see. Right, here we go then. New vote. Rear wings. Undecided. That's us. 1 voting power. The next vote was on qualifying, which seemed like a broken mechanic because it said that qualifying would be increased to 0 minutes, which it currently is. So I guess we'll use our vote here. Will benefit traditional teams. Will not benefit equality focused teams. Well, none of those are us. I don't even know what that means. I wish you'd give me a development. There is no restriction on allowing teams to improve their high speed cornering at the cost of time and money. Yeah, we're gonna vote for. More development means more areas that we can improve in, sure. Here we go. 2-1. 2-2. 3-2. 4-3. 5-3. Oh, well, Nancy. 5-5. Last vote. No, it's not. Oh, 1 against. No rear wing development then. That was fascinating. The vote on rear wings can be developed has ended. The vote was rejected, which means the rear wings can be developed. The rear wings can be developed will not be. That doesn't make sense. Which means that rear wings can be developed will not be implemented. The vote rejected, which means that... I guess it does. Next vote in 56 days. Let's get going. Quite a lot of waffling in this episode. So we want to get onto that practice session as soon as possible. Gearbox finished. So now... we finished either of those? No. So that new gearbox is that one. Has terrible reliability. Let's cancel that and improve the reliability of the gearbox. And we now want to design a new suspension. A good one. Yeah, we really need to get rid of that designer, because we can only develop great parts at risk, which isn't any real use to us. But I think it increases our knowledge. I think I'm right in saying that. So I think something else Foxes was saying, I think it's worth doing, actually, because it doesn't add anything to the cost and we get an increase in knowledge. So we may as well build it. And we may as well, I guess, build an average one if it's gonna... Oh, that does cost more. No. Okay, good. Oh, good, all that money going out. Where's our standing? Very happy. Munich. It doesn't say much about the budget, so I'm guessing it has no effect. You'd think you wouldn't be able to spend money. I guess it's like an overdraft, isn't it? I suppose there must be something that you can't buy unless you're in the positive. Otherwise it'd be a very broken mechanic, I would have thought. But okay, we're off to Guildford, or as we all know better as Silverstone, although it's got... Oh, there's a bridge there. Okie doke. One more scouting slot before we head off for practice. Subaru we've seen a lot of this year. Pretty expensive. Not super old though. Could be an experienced pair of hands to put in alongside a young driver. It's Dreyfus, the movie. Okay, wonderful. Watch out, Octane Racing Mechanics. Claudia Dreyfus's ego is about to jump several sizes, as the German driver is going to be starring in her very own documentary. It's really all about me, says Dreyfus, wearing some designer sunglasses. I'm fine with that. Gives the people what they want, right? Oh god, why did I do that accent at the end? Right, that's the end of that one. Right, she's got... she there's something to click on the bottom. Filming documentary, marketability increased. Good. I wasn't going to continue that accent, I'm sorry. Mustafa El Sadat is an average driver in the European Racing Series. The good news is that he has a huge amount of potential. That's kind of the driver we want. With improvement, he could be a real star. Greatest strength is his smoothness, but he struggles with fitness. That can be improved. If you've got the talent, we can improve your fitness. He's definitely one to think about then. I like the sound of him. That's the most glowing... I've never seen a huge amount of potential on a scout report, so definitely a hopeful. Right, getting ready then for Guildford. We're going to go 9th or above. Second or above, just far too ambitious. It's only 200,000 more. We might as well... 9th, definitely. Okay. Right, fitting parts. Brakes, right. Who are we going to give the advantage to this time? I think Dreyfus, especially if she's got a documentary crew with her. We want to make her perform as well as she can. Engine. They're absolutely equal. Which one's the older one? 17, it really doesn't matter. Gearbox. We've now got 2 average gearboxes, great. More reliable. Let's give it to Marchetta. We'll balance it out a bit. And suspension. I don't want to risk that great part. We're not doing this anymore. And the other suspension part isn't built, unfortunately. So we're going to have to go with an average and an original. And we shall give it to Dreyfus. Yeah, we will. Okay. Fit parts. That's done. Happy, unhappy, oh dear. Well, tough luck. Let's get on to practice then. Okay, time to get going for practice then. select our drivers. Setup, I was also given some great advice from Foxworth. Start at one end of the green bar and then do the other, and then you know which side of the middle you're going for, depending on what they say. Spot on, son. Good idea. Okay, so we'll go for that way on downforce, that way on handling, and can we get to the other end? This is the problem, balancing it. I don't know, we can get all the extremes, that's the problem. We could go that extreme, I suppose, for acceleration. That's probably about as close as I can get. One thing that really annoys me is you can't copy setups to the other car, but I guess every car is different. Ah, but yeah, of course, it's wet. First wet practice session of the year as well. Interesting. So it'll be intermediate tyres and cloudier. Let's try and get those extremes again. Speed, balance. What's that? Oh, it's because it's out of the recommended. Tough. Downforce, can we just drag it a little bit further? There we go. Intermediates, go, 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 go. Okay, we'll send them both out straight away for a run. I hate all these menus you have to go through. I've already done all that, just let them go, please. A bit glitchy in the pit lane there with Marchetta and somebody else. Could be interesting. Is there a runway going through the middle of the track? Runway, planes and stuff. Okay, I guess that's their fictional setting. The well-known British track through an airport. I might be being stupid there, but I'm pretty sure there's not a major... I know Brooklands used to be a airport, but that was a long time ago. That's a runway that was turned into... There's a funny story about Brooklands. They started a campaign to get the track resurfaced and up to scratch again to be reopened. This was the classic sort of banking track in the UK that I think held the first, if not, I think it's the first purpose-built racetrack converted from a airfield, but you know what I mean, in the UK. And they held a big fundraising campaign. I forgot to bring the drivers in my nostalgia. Wonderful. They held a big fundraising campaign to get the track, you know, brought back up to speed and reopened, and they raised many millions of pounds, and all it was enough for was the pit straight and the building next to it. Only a tiny bit of the pit straight, so I think that's being refurbished and they're going to turn it into a museum or something, but need a lot of money to open a racetrack, that's for sure. But incredibly high speed, dangerous track, very similar to the old Monza track, the original, with the banking. Okay, now they're coming in. Bit of a waste of a lap there. Okay, send out. Right, before we read too much into it, we want to go to the opposite of those bars. So, downforce the other way. Handling the other way. Gear ratios the other way. Suspension, gear ratios. That'll do. How the tyres? It's pretty much ready for a dry track, isn't it? We'll send her out on the soft tyres. And Marchetta. I hope I can work this out and that this strategy works. Otherwise, I've been wasting a lot of time on useless setups. Right. I trust you, Foxworth. I trust you. Alright, handling the other way. Gear ratio towards top speed. That's not quite worked out as well as I'd hoped. Why can't I get top speed all the way down? It's holding it back, probably the front wing. But then how am I going to get the downforce back? Oh, this is a horrible balancing game. But this is also an awful lot simpler than it would be in real life, that's for sure. Right, we're just going to have to go with that, I guess. Change the handling. No. Okay, let's just try that. It's going to feel terrible, Marchesa. I'm terribly sorry about that, but this is kind of scientific, I think. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it is. Right, let's fast forward it a little bit while their setups get changed and the time wastes away. And back out on track. Very, very long circuit around here. Looking like a wet race, surprise, surprise, for at least some of it. So, again, we're going to have to get the strategy bang on to succeed when it's such a long track. Oh, I nearly forgot to bring him in again. Nearly wasted another lap. Interesting to see. Obviously, the minimum aim towards the end of the season is to hold on to that 6th place. If we can do that, at least the chairman will be happy. But of course, we want to go forward if we can. We're not too far off the teams above us. We're the only people on dry tyres. It's a bit weird because there's 0 rain or water on the track at all. Very poor, very... Right, let's see if this works, shall we? I don't think I've learned anything from this. I don't think I've done it right. So, very poor, poor, very poor. Very poor, very poor, poor. I guess we kind of do. So, downforce, probably somewhere in the middle. Handling, want to be more towards the middle. And speed balance, more towards top speed. Okay, let's use that information then. So downforce somewhere towards the middle. Handling somewhere towards the middle, but closer to that end than the left end. And top speed. Right, let's go for that. Sure, why not? YOLO, as the kids say. Marchesa. I think we've learnt even less from him. 58 both times. Okay, poor. Okay. So, downforce, very poor, somewhere in the middle of that bar. Handling, okay, poor, so more towards understeer. And speed balance, okay, towards the middle, somewhere between those two bars. So, downforce in the middle. Doesn't really matter which one we use. It's about there. Handling more towards understeer. And top speed somewhere in the middle. We'll try that. I think that's right. Problem is you can't save a setup. There's just little details about this game that really get me. Because I'd like to save that so I can click back on that. Oh, you idiot. Idiot Jay, you can you can hover over it. Poor, okay, so we wanted, yeah, somewhere in the middle, which is what we've done. High. So somewhere in the middle, what we've done. Understeer, oversteer, okay, poor. Somewhere in the middle of those two. Oh no, got that wrong. That needs to be somewhere about there. Gear ratio is a bit more there. Right. Time to test the theory. I'm not expecting 100%, but this should definitely be 70s, 80s minimum. All the AI are still on intermediate tyres. What a bunch of morons. That's a broken AI feature in practice, obviously. Oh. No, they've got incredible psychic powers, apparently. Or a good weather radar, which we don't have. And it's going to start raining again. Oh, better bring them back in now. Just tiptoe around, guys. Don't want to stuff that car in a wall. That's for sure. Oh, it's feeling so much nicer now. Look at all those glowing reviews, ladies and gentlemen. You know, oh, Foxworth, you genius. So downforce is the only one that we're struggling on. We've tried far to the left, far to the right, and in the middle. Okay, so maybe if we move it a bit more that way. Let's try that. Because, well, no reason really, just a guess. Handling we want to keep there, speed balance. We'll try a small change and see what that does. You're going to want the intermediates back on, I'm afraid, Claudia. We are in England after all. Marchetta, it's a bit lower, I think. No, it's even higher. It's great, great. Good. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay. I don't really know what to change. Let's just make some tiny little tweaks, shall we? Let's just try that, just see what it does. We've got a good setup already, we can always revert back to it. Intermediates, out you go. Oh wow. Yeah, you might be on the wrong tyres now, guys. It's a bloody monsoon. And all the floodlights are on. Lightning, oh my god. Not going to be any red flags from these race officials though. They're driving whatever the weather. Tweaks are great, bang on. Excellent, excellent, great. Excellent, great, good. Wonder what they said. We've just about got time to check. 97. Come on. Yeah. You know, I don't want to send you out again. And we'll check Marchetta's before the race. It's a bit of a cliffhanger for you there. No. Okay, well that's going to be practice. Really not much learned in terms of times, but the new strategy technique, setup technique, sorry, is bang on. That's worked a dream. Don't know what Marchetta's is yet, but it's 91 at the minimum, and Dreyfus has got a 97% setup. So we should be very confident going into the race. The race itself will be out on Tuesday, so look out for that. And as always, I hope you've really enjoyed the episode. If you have, hit that like button. If, like Foxworth, you've got some tips for me and in the game itself, maybe further along, maybe you can help me avoid some of the pitfalls you went through, especially things to do before Season 2, so I don't want to muck up too much going through. Then I'd love to hear from you in the comments as well, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and you can keep up to date when everything is out on the channel. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.
These battles have often been contained on single racetracks. Now, it's going global. The chosen chariot for this is the Red Ball 2016. Brilliant in the bends, but often hampered by its Renault engine. Lacking power on the...
Sorry? What do you mean? They make watches. Oh, okay.
Can they make up for the deficit on the straights with their Tag Heuer engine?
Sauber, a team that often I get confused as to whether they have overachieved or underachieved. A team of humble beginnings, founded by Peter Sauber in the 1970s. He would eventually work his way up the ladder to win back-to-back Le Mans races in 1988 and 1999 with the incredible Sauber Mercedes C9, a car that was relatively unchanged between the 2 years, such was its dominance. It was then that Peter Sauber decided to take a foray into Formula 1.